howdy, ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast, episode 448, Victory Edition. 4 out of the last 5. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing, excited host, Chris, and with me is my equally dashing, even more excited co-host and good friend, Ash Thompson. How you doing, brother?
I am doing spectacularly well, Chris. How about you, man? This is it's a great day to be a Lions fan.
Victory Sunday.
Yeah.
Oof. Oop, St. Jude came in. Christopher Carlson, thank you, sir. The $14.
You're a good man, Christopher Carlson.
Talk about that shortly. We got a lot to talk about. We had the game today that rocked, that rolled. We have Coach Campbell's post-game presser. I don't know why those letters or words seem so hard to say this time. We'll do a roundtable discussion and a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up on a great win today from a great Detroit Lions team. Ash, are you ready to go, my man?
100% ready to go. Just saw something hilarious in the chat. Let's get it on.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
Woo! Full Metal Savage, thank you, sir. Beer is on me once again, boys. For those of us,
The specific thing I was referring to is Dr. Paparoni here, or Paparoni. Unfortunately, this is a toxic fan base, and someone is going to try and diminish this butt whooping. He's so not wrong, which is ridiculous.
But it ain't going to be us.
No, it is not.
Currently watching. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just super happy that you finally come around to the stance on Jared Goff that I've been on for a year and a half.
Which one? The one from Slack or how athletic he was? I was hoping somebody would bite. That was the most obvious bait, but I figured somebody would bite, but nope.
Yep. Good times, man.
We got a tie going on right now with the Commies and the Giants. And we want the Giants to win that one. So
yes, we do.
And they have the ball. So we'll see how that goes. Slow lights today. I feel like it's going to be a full-length motion picture because there's a lot to look at out there. This team really put a complete game from start to finish. The fumble on the first possession by the Jaguars, and then just score. And we talked about this, right? But it was the shoe was on the other foot. If you don't make the other team punt, you're not going to win a game.
Yep, that's exactly true. I had Badgley on the bench on a fantasy team today. I was like, no.
Oh man. See, and this is the thing that Buffalo game, heartbreaker. It was a heartbreaker, but it was indicative of what we've got in this team. And when you want to talk about team, I will go to this one. I know I talked about it earlier with you before we got started. Jerry Jacobs walking down the line of the offense and congratulating him on that last score to a person. There's a camaraderie here. These guys are absolutely the best and brightest. Floundericious showing back up. $200 match for St. Jude today during the show. Folks, we're at $10,000, almost $500 raised. We've got this thing rocking. Flounder, you're the best. You're doing this all the time. Go to stjude.org/DLP. And throw your fully tax-deductible donation in there. Help us out. We're trying to put together this Christmas for the kids, trying to get over $100,000 total raised amongst our Lions folks. We have some good giveaways that are popping up. We're going to give them away during the 24-hour broadcast on Friday and Saturday. Really good stuff going on. We got an auction going on. If you go to auction.detroitlionspodcast.com, there's some great jerseys. There's a great print of Campbell and Holmes and the Calvin and Hobbes style. For people that want to bid, and if you're having trouble, I've seen this, a few people have this, you have to enter your shipping address and billing address in before you can bid. So you create an account, and you have to do that, and then you can bid like crazy. Evan Curry, thank you for the $20. Very, very much for helping us out with the Christmas for the kids. 10-5, folks. There's something we're going to do. I'm going to hold off on it. Something we're doing this at this St. Jude piece that we've never done before that I think is going to add some fun to the event and
color me intrigued.
A very visual evolution throughout the 24 hours. So it'll be good. All right, let's see. One penalty all game. When was the last time that happened? And that penalty was what was it? A too pancakey of a block?
I think it was called it on the wrong guy.
Yeah, it was Panay, wasn't it?
Yep.
But we won't worry about that.
No, that's today's not the day we complain about the refs, even though it's the one day where if we did, people might actually listen.
Well,
Thank you.
there was the one holding play. Golden, thank you for the $40.14.
Yeah, buddy.
There we go. He broke our change, but that's okay. 10-508-87. Thank you, Golden. Appreciate you. Yeah, no. The one pass interference that went uncalled. But what are you gonna do, right? The thing
Yeah.
that it kind of I've taken away from the last 5 games really is we know refereeing is imperfect. Okay, and
Yeah.
that's fine. That's okay that it's imperfect. But you want to kind of be balanced imperfect. They do that a lot in hockey. You'll see. But what we're seeing now with this team is just what it's like to see a regular game from a ref standpoint. Like this is nothing egregious, nothing silly. This is what football is supposed to be like. And a couple calls went someone else's way. A couple calls went our way. Okay.
Yeah.
And it didn't change the outcome of the game. It didn't have like an egregious effect. It was just, this is football. And then to see the Lions put together a complete game like they did today. Holy cow.
All 3 phases, man. They dominated in all 3 phases, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I feel like a Patriots fan right now with just very little interesting to say about anything. And it feels beautiful.
Giants 3rd and 2, minute 50 left in overtime, and they're just at field goal range. Interesting to see that.
All right.
What happened with the Packers today? Did they they didn't get the first down. Did they end up losing to the Bears, or were the Bears able to pull that out? I saw with
it
little
was
time.
28-19 Green Bay.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I also hate the Bears, but yeah, would have been nice to just watch a flaming Packers team go down.
Second place, completely in our total sole ownership in the NFC North. That would have been really great. There is a true changing of the guard right now. A true changing of the guard. The tie would be fine, Rich. I think though we have the win over the Giants, which is our tiebreaker with them, so that kind of helps.
Yeah, we have the tiebreaker over either of those 2 teams. It's just the Commanders have one less win. So if they had another loss, that gets us one closer to actually getting there, if that makes sense.
See. All right, let's see. We talk about it. Hit the win, hit the thumbs up. Do your part. Thank you very much. All right, so let's talk about this. Jared Goff. Seems like the guy.
He's definitely a guy.
I love doing this.
Man, I trying to bait me. I feel it. I feel myself being baited right now. That's the thing. We know with Goff, the highs are high, real high, high enough that another franchise gave him a $100 and some million contract. You know what I mean? And then 2 years later, had enough of the lows that they decided that they maybe rethink that whole scenario. But that's always kind of been the thing, though. The highs, when he's good, he's so good. You know what I mean? But when he's not, he's so not. But he tends to not be when he doesn't have any supporting cast. And it's a lot easier to pick up extra receiver depth than it is to try to find a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. If you have to have 6 wide receivers on the roster every week, every one of whom could start, that's easier to do than to find a better quarterback than Jared Goff in the draft.
It's the hardest part about this whole thing, right? And
because they're not, the quarterback you draft isn't going to be better next year. That's the thing with this. There isn't maybe Bryce Young, maybe would be a little bit, but any other guy you draft is a step back immediately. And you draft AR-15, that guy's not going to be as good for your offense for 3 years. You know?
Yeah, that's
he'll do some stuff with his legs, but he'll throw half as many touchdown passes and just as many picks.
That's the one thing that I was kind of worried about. Hold on. They're playing around with it. The Lions are playing around. Okay, we got it. No, we don't. Okay. Still waiting for everything to come together on the presser here. Sorry. Yeah, that's the thing I always keep thinking about with Jared Goff. I mean, there's a lot of treasure in this pick from the Rams. There's a
Yep.
lot of value there. And it feels like a reach to use it at because you're not going to get Bryce, right? I mean, you're just not.
No.
So then what do you do? I mean, anything else feels like a super reach. And there's more to come on the quarterbacks, right? More to become. The thing I was kind of laughing about a little bit today, I don't say laughing, but when Trevor Lawrence got hurt, I was like, ooh, I don't like doing that to our future quarterback. Because I think a trade is the way you get your guy. And I think he's a guy that, I mean, they've got him for 5 years, so they got 2 years left on him, right?
But even that, with the trade, you're not guaranteed to get somebody better. You know, like look at Russell Wilson, still has more bathrooms in his house than touchdown passes on the season.
He's an anomaly,
You know,
though.
and it's 12. The number is 12. That's one a game.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. So it's still a wild question. Still a wild question. If you win on the bid for charity, what's the process for payment? My Tiger is real. And Chris, thank you both for your $20 donations. You guys rock and roll.
Yeah, boys.
When you win at the end, you'll be named the winner, and you'll be able to pay right on the site there. And once it's there, it'll like go into your shopping cart as the winner, and then you can just pay on there, and shipping we'll get it all handled to you. We've got it coming from a couple different places, but it's all there, and it'll all be out and in your hands prior to the Christmas holiday. So you should all be in good shape there if you're buying for gifts or whatever. Really, really good stuff there up for auction though, and more coming. There's a Swift sign ball, a great stained glass piece that's can be commissioned, and a bunch of like Hawkinson stuff. That's still valuable, cool stuff that's going up here. Thanks to Greg Warren for that. I was food poisoned yesterday morning. I lost my day till about 5 p.m. And I missed. I have so much to do prep for Friday. So Vikings pulled it out. That's no good. Thanks for that, Golden, for letting us know about that one. That's not specifically what we were looking for.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of like realistically, the division is out of reach this year. That's like that's not happening, sadly. You know, not that like wild card is actually a realistic expectation. You know what I mean? But it's still a more than mathematical possibility.
For sure.
Like we're back. Theoretically, we're back 2 games. You know what I mean?
What should we do? What should we do with Risdon and his James Houston situation?
And it's like he hadn't said a word about the guy all season.
You
know what I mean? Not a single negative thing to say about the guy since training camp when he didn't look very good, to be blunt. You know what I mean? But like even the beat reporters that are there don't see much of what these players are actually doing on the practice field. You know, like they're there for 15, 20 minutes over the course of an entire practice day.
Yep.
Something like that. Yep. So like they also like as much as it's the best information we have to go on, because without them, we would know absolutely nothing other than, you know, the occasional pieces of, you know, your charisma having drawn human beings in who will talk to you about things. Other than that, though, like we would know like literally absolutely nothing. Like this came out of nowhere, but that sack was like, that was a big boy pass rush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That had so much nuance. Like he came off the line like you shot out of a cannon, all but stopped with a stutter step, and then just kept going like that stutter step had never happened. And like, that's not a bad offensive tackle that he just walked around. Like not top tier. You know what I mean? He's not going to the Hall of Fame, but he's an NFL starting offensive tackle. Yep. And made him look like a child, like a parent running around on the like dads versus kids game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then almost killed Trevor Lawrence. That's you know, that was unfortunate, but like when you're that low coming off the block, that's where the guy gets hit, right?
Yeah.
If it was dirty, they would have called it. You know, like there is a penalty in the book for dirty hits to the legs of a quarterback, and that did not get called. So like, good on Houston. That was just a great play.
Yep. A couple things going on here. First, asking what's the link to the auction? Auction.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Auction.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. All that stuff's there. Remember, when you create your profile, fill out your shipping and billing addresses, and then you can bid. That's the one thing that holds people. You don't have to put a payment thing in yet. Let's see the other one. Do we beat the Jets? I've got a strong yes on that. And thank you, David Zamora, for that. I think that we've got the Jets pretty well in hand. I don't want to say that anything is a freebie. Clock's running. They spike it. It's going to be, what, a 57-yard field goal there for the...
Yeah, it looks like.
With 15 seconds left. That's what we're watching. Zeka, I'm trying. J-Mo with only one target and minimum snaps. Wasn't expecting to play a ton of snaps, but he barely played any. Surprised after how well he practiced. I think the Lions were just rolling with the roll. It was going fine. They weren't going to disrupt it, and they were going to stick with a minimalist plan on a game like that, especially for him to come out to pull a hammy, to tweak something that would have been like the absolute worst outcome.
Why are they playing him?
Yeah.
There was no need.
There was no need, So I think
same old Lions. You got to take care of the players.
Yep.
Why bother? Like, the kid has 2 practices in 9 months. Yep. Maybe he can have another week off.
Yep.
Maybe we can wait a little bit on a gigantic blowout game where revealing anything that they plan to do with him would have been a giant mistake this week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He went out there, he had his one pattern where he just ran up the sideline and got shoved out of bounds because he weighs 168 pounds and that corner is a big boy. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Have a seat.
Yeah.
And I think people need to temper their expectations too, right? Because this is a relatively small guy who's going to have to, kind of pick up how to play with the physicality of the NFL. We can't expect him to get 180 yards receiving unless it's on 360-yard bombs.
and the thing, I think we're going to need a little bit of, sorry, Jameson Hennessy, can we get Riz to mention a few other players that are going to fail in the NFL? Can we just get him to read the Lions roster, please?
Yep. The following players are not going to succeed this year.
Oh my God.
Jared Goff.
All right, field goal's up. Is back. It's up, and it's short. Short.
No, it's short. That's a tie. That is the legitimate worst case scenario with this game, I think.
I don't think it's the worst.
Well, it basically doesn't drop. It only drops the Commodes a half game back of where they were on as far as the percentage goes.
Yeah.
If we have the same number of wins, whether we had the tiebreaker or not, I guess it's not that it's a race to a certain number of wins, right? So, we already had the tiebreaker. We still have the tiebreaker. We just didn't gain anything here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did gain on the Giants because they also didn't get a win. You know what I mean? So that's only one of those is going to matter in the end.
All right.
But
quick. We got a comment from Duncan.
These nuts.
We were in command from the first minute of the game and didn't let off the gas. 100%. That's the thing.
Yep.
This is there's an element of this game was absolute blast. I was chill the entire time. I'd never felt stressed. This was one of the most put together, fundamentally, all phases of the game, relaxing. I never, ever had any creeping doubt. This was an awesome, potentially one of the best Lions games and most relaxing, enjoyable Lions games that I have in memory. I can't just think of nothing else pops in my brain as something that.
We had some folks in the chat getting a little uptight when we kind of for a bit there went into a prevent defense and they had their 8.5 minute drive for a touchdown.
Yeah.
People started getting oh no, they're within 2 scores. Oh no. It's okay, we need to stop being the same old Lions fans, because how many times have we watched our team do exactly what the Jaguars did today and come out and give us just a glimmer of hope with a touchdown that means absolutely nothing, that is just handed to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On a silver platter. And okay, just I hate to quote Aaron Rodgers, but just relax.
Dave Griffiths, JMO, total bust. Didn't even make a catch today. That's for sure.
Terrible player.
We're done with him on the trade block immediately.
Not a kneecap biter.
Corey, I wish there was a 5th quarter today.
I don't know. I was good. I was legitimately kind of bored at the end. It was it's nice to see. It felt really good, but it was just kind of it was over. The third quarter ended and the game was done.
Total Lions win. Nice to see beat the teams you should be beating at home. David Gerald, absolutely. This is one where This is how it should have been. What was the line on this game? It was like 1.5 points, right?
Yeah.
And which isn't fair because you're supposed to have a 3-point home benefit anyway, right?
Yeah. Oof. Well, that's the disrespect that the Lions get in terms of like betting odds. But again, that is just them trying to con people into giving them money.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing we have to remember about betting lines is these are not win-loss predictions. These are not score predictions. These are what do we have to put up there to get the wrong people to give us their money. And that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. You're getting... Don't ever quote Aaron Rodgers. Oh, man. Yeah, we talked about
I'm going to start
later,
talking
Brandon.
about the medicine anytime now here. Dirty hippie.
I think the tie, the way the tie hurt us is that they didn't get a loss out of the commodes. They're just at a point where, but they're both 7.
Well, a loss or a tie doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
same,
actually,
really.
now that I'm thinking about this was the best case scenario because neither of these teams got a win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because on a equal number of wins tiebreaker, we already beat them.
That's
you know what I mean? We're good.
Yeah, so it took away all tiebreakers. Actually, it took away that benefit that we had of a tiebreaker, but it's effectively a loss.
But yeah, one of them was going to gain an advantage. Neither of them gained that advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we moved up one, they didn't move.
Yep.
So in the end, this is the best case scenario.
The over under on the game was 52.5, and Lions getting that on their own. I'm going to give this about 2 more minutes, but I think they're gonna mess up and miss the post-game presser from coach, which is hilarious because they're at home. It's their equipment. They should be able to figure this out. But
maybe it's a Ford Field thing that was causing the audio to go to hell in the middle of the game.
Maybe they ran out of microphones. All right, let's see what else do we got. If they don't get to that here really quickly, we're gonna go ahead and pop right into phone calls, folks. So give us about 2 to 3 minutes here. We'll know if it's gonna be phone calls or the Dan Campbell presser after. Really shortly here, so we'll know. All right, let's talk about this. Casey boy, you're seeing it. Where are you seeing it, Casey boy? I'm not seeing it anywhere. Yeah, no, nothing. Okay, if it's on like they don't have it.
When I Google Detroit Lions post game, we come up.
That's how it's supposed to work. I love that.
Search engine optimization is a beautiful thing.
And it's without clickbait crap. All right, tell you what, if it's on right now and they don't have it on the site, then we're going to likely say we're moving on and move into the happy point of where we take the phone calls. Let's celebrate this win together. Let's do the fun stuff. We got it. You know the number 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384, and we'll get your calls on the show when we hear you. All right. Let's see here. See if this is working. Hey caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far? All right. Hold up. I got 2 things to do. Can you carry it for just 1 second, Ash, while
I suppose. So let's talk a little about the heroic effort of Jared Goff today. Let's discuss that just momentarily. Like, what do you want from a quarterback if not this? Is really the question. I have to ask a whole bunch of people who are still 100% off, as though we could literally take a can of soup, put it in a uniform, and get a better performance. Like, this game is not in 99% of quarterbacks. It just isn't. Like, on their absolute best day, if everything goes right and they have the most dominant roster, they're not going to do what Jared Goff did today. And like, let's remember that, yes, he did only have 2 touchdowns, but there were a number of passes that they went down inside the 3-yard line. Like, those, as far as if you're grading what he did, that is basically another touchdown. Like, yeah, you know, our league leading wonderful running back who's going to get paid a gigantic amount of money, probably somewhere else, kind of sniped a couple TDs today. How many did he get today? Let's see. Do you recall how many Williams got today?
It was at least 2, I thought. I can get that right here.
Williams 1, Swift 1. Okay,
yep.
Basically we had a couple running backs snipe some touchdowns from him too. So Like what do you want? Like they're not going to score a touchdown on every drive, even if it is Patrick Mahomes.
There we go.
I'm hearing a call. Let's take that so I can stop talking.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I hate technology sometimes.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It just breaks. It just breaks.
Yep.
Like it worked, and then it just broke. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
I'm Jeff. I'm from Grand Rapids, and well, fortunately, I'm not near as drunk as the last time I called last time, so I won't say frankly 15 times in the conversation. Anyway, somebody in the chat earlier mentioned penalties, and I've been a Lions fan an awfully long time because I'm like stupid old, and so and love wing fonts, but in the regime before Jim Schwartz, they had such weenie penalties. And I appreciated the fact that as soon as Schwartz became coach, the penalties became ludicrous but stupid aggressive. And the only thing better than that is the fact that we have no penalties. And that is just, I cannot tell you how much I love that as being a longtime Lions fan. That is just something that's unheard of. This year has been, essentially penalty free. Even the games where we had, like 6 or 8 of them, in essence, they were penalty free if you take the entire body of work for the team. And the other thing I want to cover real quick before I let you go is, okay, when the incompletion, the shark incompletion was overturned, that to me is starting to show a change with how the league views the Lions. Because once upon a time, like Blandino said in the telecast, that he didn't see enough. But, maybe the Lions are starting to get the benefit of the doubt because they are becoming a good football team that plays the game correctly and does everything right and it's earning respect of the league and their peers. And again, that's something that this shows you why what we have going on right now is something I've never seen in my 40 some odd years of being a Lions fan. And people say, oh yeah, you say it's a new thing every time. No, this is a new thing. We've never had a year zero. We've never had 6-year contracts. We've never had ownership totally behind what's going on. This is, we're starting to see perhaps something that is truly special happening, and I'm excited to watch it, and I think it's great. And for the love of God, like, subscribe, and share. And have a good day, guys.
Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate it.
Well, if they're going to shill for us, what am I even here for?
Yeah, my gosh. This is spectacular. 3rd and long passes for a first down. That's a great one, Calhoun Lion.
Yeah.
They just were crunching it today. I kept calling him first down St. Brown. I know it's touchdown St. Brown, but he's good for a first down almost every time he catches the ball. And that
but just beat down St. Brown.
That's
what it was today.
That he took. Holy cow. And my guy just got up and went with it. And I don't know if you saw I forget the name, the linebacker's name. He was hurt a little, and then they played again. St. Brown's on. That next catch that St. Brown made, he hops up. The linebacker that hit him, limped off the field.
Yep.
St. Brown is just a beast, man. He's my Mr. Universe.
Yep. I love that guy. I fell in love with that guy 6 months before he was a Detroit Lion. You know what I mean? Like just watching that tape. Yeah. I was like, I want to cheer for that man. Like sometimes you just get a guy where you're like, man, there's something real nice to look at there. We're going to get to look at it for a very long time because I suspect that when it's time to hand him a bag, they are going to hand him a bag and he'll be happy to take it from them.
Give everybody a bag, including Ben Johnson, the happiest employee in the Detroit Lions building. Give that guy all the money that he wants and more.
Absolutely.
A little bit more.
Because
he doesn't know he wants a little more yet.
Let's throw some bonuses on there for sure. That's let's make it not a choice. You know what I mean?
He's my dream offensive coordinator. And you guys know, the ones that have been listening with us for a long time, we were there. We told you when Aylin was going to be gone, we told you that he was the guy long before they did, because that was a very well managed from an HR perspective, organizational change. They did a good job on that one. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink today?
Hey, man, I'm drinking that Golf Kool-Aid. This is Jersey Rams, Golf's biggest fan.
There you go.
And, right, all right.
Where you been?
Hey, man, I've been listening. I've been, commenting on YouTube. Riz made me so mad last week when he said off the one throw, Goff wasn't the quarterback, and that was the reason why, which I thought was ridiculous. Especially when you consider that Josh Allen will ball in the dirt in Miami on 4th and 2, lost the Viking game, and then you beat the 32nd ranked Lions defense, and all of a sudden that made him the guy and Goff not the guy. It's just ridiculous. Quarterbacks don't have bad games and good games, but as you can see, when you give Goff weapons, you give him time, he does what a lot of quarterbacks can't do, and that's just plain and simple. He is a very good quarterback, and he reads defense. Apparently, McVay is still telling him what to do in the headsets because he is out there dealing dimes and looking good. And just look at the NFC for 1 second. You got Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, Tyler Heineke, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, and now Jimmy Garoppolo just left the game, Brock Purdy. Are you telling me if Goff and the Lions get in the playoffs that Goff can't beat any one of those quarterbacks? One of those quarterbacks going to the Super Bowl, right? Like we can talk about all these elite quarterbacks. One of those guys who we don't consider elite is going to the Super Bowl. So, and I'll put my money on Goff any day of the week.
I think my thing about Goff is, 32nd ranked defense. Now that's obviously improved. But when you're talking about improving the defense, you do it with a couple draft picks. This defense could easily be a top 10 defense next year with a couple pieces. Easily could be.
Defense is super volatile. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. To get yourself one of the 15th best quarterbacks in the world, that is one hell of a gamble to try to get one of the 15th best quarterbacks in the world. And I saw a tweet from one of the beat guys, you got to have a Mahomes or a Brady or whatever to win. And it's like, okay, well,
or an Allen.
Or an Allen, that was it. You got to have a Mahomes or an Allen to win. All right, well, pack it up, everybody. There's only 2 teams in the NFL then. Let's not play the league anymore. Let's not play the games anymore.
And those guys were both in the Super Bowl last year, right?
One of them were.
Why do we give Allen all this credit when Allen hasn't been to a Super Bowl? Right? He hasn't been there. Allen threw a ball behind his head in the Super Bowl. Like he threw it behind his head in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like this notion that, he's good, right? But he has bad games just like every other quarterback.
No, hold on.
Which is why
only Jared Goff ever has bad games. I've been told by Lions fans repeatedly.
He's the thing about Goff is he's polarizing, and I think he's held to an unfair standard. I think he is what he is, and you can win with him. I think there's a lot of places the Lions could improve this team to turn it into a winner. I think those places are a lot less of a gamble than trying to find the top 15th quarterback. And even then, if you get a top 15 in the world, what if he's 13? Is that incremental enough improvement to that suddenly we're going to win games when we talked about it when we started, when you can't make a team punt? Well, that's not going to win any games for you. I think there's a lot of other places where this team can make impactful changes and turn the win-loss numbers, can flip those and turn those into a lot better place. Now, look, is he the guy at the very end that's going to do it? I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. But right now, Goff is not the reason this team lost. Those losses in the early, what are we, the only team that has more than 30-point average? That sounds like we're doing all right.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly that, man. You look at the losses. Go ahead.
Yeah. You tell me a bad quarterback that leads a top 5 offense for different teams over the years. Bad quarterbacks just don't do that. He led a top 5, and it was number 1 year with the Rams. And the year they went to Super Bowl, the defense was ranked 18th. It wasn't top 10. And now he's doing it again with the Lions. Like, he's showing you he knows what to do when you give him tools to win. And although all those weapons out there, when they're healthy, they win. I just hate that every week it comes down to it's a bad pass, and that's the reason he can't be here. When we know there are a lot of things that go into a team winning. Coaching, defense, special teams, all that plays into a team winning. Can Goff be better in the pocket? Hell yeah, he can be better in the pocket. But he does deliver the ball when it needs to be delivered.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. And you've had me look at things a little bit differently. I was pretty out on Goff for a while there. I think that there's other things that we can do that are higher impact for this team to turn games into wins along the way. He's not the first thing I'd change. He may not be the last thing over time. But I think this.
Right.
I think he's not. There's so many other reasons this team is losing games that he's not where I would take my gamble.
Yeah. These last 5 games are going to be awfully fun. So, buckle up.
Oh yeah.
You guys have a good night.
You too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. He's got, he makes a decent argument. I like this one. Lions fans are not used to a well-rounded team. And like this, they think a quarterback needs to be making ridiculous highlight reel plays all the time rather than making use of a talented roster. And that's so interesting because, number one, being the guy after Stafford, the hardest role for any quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's just almost impossible to live up to the standard, number one. Number two.
Particularly with the year Stafford had last year.
Yep.
Like that's him leaving and doing that made Jared Goff's life impossible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you look at that and you're like, okay. And then you see, so you got that going on, and then you start thinking about, well, okay, if that's the way it is. But I think the NFL is changing, and it's a quarterback league, it's a passing league right now. But the Lions have found a lot of their success this year on the ground, and I think you're seeing an evolution in the offenses of the NFL kind of back toward a more balanced approach because everybody's stacking their defenses for the pass, and all of a sudden the run becomes really, really productive. I think you see a lot of, evolutions, and I'm all right where we are. I'm all right where we are.
Yeah. Like, I mean, everything is cyclical in the NFL. Teams adjust to a thing, and then somebody finds the new thing, and that's what everybody does for the next 5 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the Seattle style defense as an example. Like how many teams hired literally anyone who could run that defense as their head coach for how many years? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it worked for some, did not work for others, but that was the thing. But then Sean McVay's offense comes around, and it's basically just designed to eat that defense for breakfast.
Yep.
So everyone who can run an offense like Sean McVay suddenly has a head coaching job in the NFL. And then the defense comes around to what could stop that. And then yada, yada. And now we're seeing, okay, well, the defense that can stop that is, 2 high safeties, light boxes, nothing but nickel all the time, yada, yada, yada. So what do you do to beat that? Obviously, you load up on tight ends and you run it at that poor guy who is stuck with a run fit and weighs 186 pounds. You find that guy and you run it at him.
Yeah. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, Chris, am I on here, bud?
You are.
Oh, man, well, that was weird. I just was listening to you guys talk for a while. I wasn't on hold or anything. This is Chupacabra, man. I miss you guys. Ash, how you doing? You sexy queen.
Not too bad.
you look good, baby. You look good. Yeah. Let's go, man.
Good to hear.
Let's go.
So, man, what a good night for us, man. What a good day. What a good night, man.
Yeah.
I was calling in because I wanted to comment on a couple things, if that's cool. The 3rd and 1 Goff chart connection, right? That has been dead all season. Goff has not been, in my opinion, throwing the ball where a 6'4" receiver has the best opportunity to even catch it on deep balls. And what I love to see in a team that's young and in a team in this kind of situation where people are building chemistry is to see them get criticized on that deep ball against the Bills, and then come back and have that connection be only second in line to Amon Ra and Goff this week. And so they built, they spent time. I think they just worked on that connection. And part of it may be a reunion game, due to Chark wanting to ball out against the Jags, but I wouldn't put much weight into that aspect of it compared to the fact that they just want to win and improve. And I just thought that was pretty sweet today. We have not seen that type of connection, and there were some tight windows. They weren't all easy throws. And for Goff and Chark to take that step today, I think is only bodes well for the team as a whole, especially with J-Mo coming back and what he can add. We'll see, as he develops and reacclimates. But in the near term, Chark's the guy that, is a veteran, and has been in the league for a while. And he's the guy that we paid $10 million to. That was really cool to see today, in my opinion. bounce back. Missing that, the Bills game and end of the game, and to bounce back today, that's not same old Lions kind of shit. That's resiliency. That's like improving week to week. That's badass, man. I'm stoked.
100%.
You guys pumped about that shit?
Chark was only 2 yards short of 100 today, with an average just of 19.6.
Well, let me ask you guys a question about Chark. Like, if I told you it was going to take 6 games for him and Goff to get on the same page and have a good game, would you have been surprised with Chark having come off season-ending injury, first year with a new team? If I said, okay, like 6th game, that's when they're going to click, would that have surprised you?
I don't.
5 or 6.
I don't think so.
Because this is Chark's 6th game wearing a Lions uniform.
Yeah.
Like, there was that big period in the middle too where he was injured. You know what I mean? Like the first week back, he was still obviously just a decoy, right? So like, there's really only been 4 games where he was healthy prior to this.
God.
But this wasn't, my point, I totally hear you, Ash, but, my point is that this was like a big leap from anything we've seen all season.
Oh, huge.
And I think part of that was, right. And that's what I totally agree with your point. But I think that the leap we've seen today versus, all the previous games was pretty big. And so I think, I just think they focused on it. I think Goff and him got together. I heard one beat writer talk about how they just, after the Bills game, the whole time they were in the locker room, Goff and Chark were just sitting in the corner talking, talking about that last play and trying to get on the same page. And frankly, I dig the shit out of that.
Yeah.
That's good, to see.
Yeah, that's
that kind of teamwork and those guys got a connection. I think you saw, like I said, when Jerry was walking down the line and congratulating the offense, there's a connection to the players of this team, and they care about the game, they care about each other, and with that they're all talented individuals. It'll come together just fine. I mean, Goff hosed me a little bit. I needed him to land 10 more yards today to help me with my bet, but other than that,
that's what really matters.
We got a couple weeks. All right, caller. Hey, but thanks a lot for calling, brother. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. All right.
We'll see.
Man.
All right. Hey, got a bunch of calls coming in. We're gonna hit another one right now. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much you had to drink? And you there?
Oh, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, buddy.
I am so sorry. I'm watching you on YouTube on TV, and there's a little bit of a delay, so you just caught me off guard. I didn't think I'd get in this quick.
I know it's
Thought
you,
I heard myself
Brandon.
laughing in the background there.
How you doing, man?
Where am I?
Well, I how am I doing? My goodness, what do you think of the whole city of Detroit? This is unbelievable. Who cares if the Red Wings, Pistons, and Tigers lose anymore? The Lions are winning.
It's the only Detroit sports team I care about, so I agree with that sentiment entirely. Go Oilers!
The Red Wings.
Yeah, there you go. But, they are almost the Pistons and the Wings are just kind of almost like a supplemental. Well, at least they won. Kind of from time to time, even though they're well, the Wings are doing pretty good, but Pistons, like last year's.
And you got college football, you got Michigan carrying the torch, right? I mean, you're doing okay with all that.
Well, there you go.
It's a lot better year
goodness.
this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot better year this year for sports in Detroit than it was a year ago.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Listen, I'll go ahead and get into I just got a few things I wanted to cover.
Sure.
And first of all the talk about, Agnew and even Marvin Jones is coming back to the old team. Let's see what they're going to be able to do against the Lions and so on and so forth. I said, does anybody remember that DJ Chark played for the Jaguars last year? No, guess not. I said, I have a feeling he's going to go off on them. And the boy, did he ever. He had a great game, as you guys already discussed.
Yep.
So I just want to give kudos to that. And if it takes him a couple of games like that after to get back into the rhythm, I have a feeling Jamo's going to do the same in a couple of weeks against the Jets.
Yeah. The Jets is going to be a team. So we got the Vikings next week. That's going to be a tough game. There's no question.
Yep.
I mean, we were close in Minnesota, so I hold out hope. I hold out some serious
It's not
hope.
unwinnable.
No.
Like, they're not a super team. The NFC just sucks. That's why they're
Yeah.
at the top of it.
Yeah, and
Yep.
they barely pulled it out. They barely pulled it out today in Minnesota. They've had a lot of squeakers. It's absolutely a winnable game, and if the Lions win that game, seriously, I mean, look at their schedule. Okay, and I hate the schedule peaking, but we're far enough in the season now. We can start to say some of these teams are who we think they are. I mean, after the Vikings, you have the Jets, the Panthers, and the Bears and the Packers. Frankly, the Vikings probably being the most difficult. These are all winnable games by the team that played today.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. In fact, I kind of had the Vikings down as a possible loss, but that is a home game as opposed to the Jets, which is an away game, and playing on the road is a different animal. However, this team has surprised me, and actually how well they play on the road compared to what the old Lions with Stafford always at the helm always did. I mean, the team had to be absolutely dreadful that they were facing to be able to win on the road, because otherwise it was like a tooth and nail, like they should not be having a problem with this team so badly, and they would.
Yep.
Like Chicago, for instance. I mean, how many times do we see Stafford go into Chicago and the team was a lot better than the Bears and throw 2 interceptions and lose the game? I mean, it's really what it's
Sir, how dare you besmirch the golden child?
Yes, that's the truth. Well,
short memories, man.
All well and good, because all is well and good now. I mean, we got the best of both worlds. We can hope for wins and hope for the Rams to lose. There we go. And Stafford's out of the picture with an injury. Hopefully he gets feeling better soon and everything like that.
That's the thing, Brandon.
Talking about Goff,
how crazy does it feel, though, to be like so into the draft and the potential for a super high pick while you're starting to do chart the map to playoffs at the same time? I mean, doesn't it feel so strange?
Yeah, it's probably the first time in our history that this has ever happened. I mean, somebody asked, I think it was on the our cousins on over there in Britain, they're at the UK site, said that he wondered is this the first time a pick could go number 1 overall that was done the year before? And I look back, and it would be. There was only like 4 picks that went number 1 overall that wound up going number 1, but it was either just after the season was over or that during the draft, just before the draft started. So it was just maybe a month before or less. Now this is a different story here, man. Listen, I'm going to go. I know you've had much discussion about Goff, but here's my take on it. And I sent Chris probably, and you might have seen this. I think in the long run plan, Brad Holmes has always had this in mind, in that he is a chip and he is a bridge quarterback eventually for the future, on further in the future, the long game. If Goff plays very well this year, that's great. He's got the picks to take another quarterback if he wants up high in the draft. Next year, if he has one, he's going to stash him, and Goff is going to play. And if the Lions are mediocre, meaning Goff is in by draft by time to try and get a trade done midway through the year, I think he'll be traded and he'll start the new kid. Now, if Goff is playing well, let him go through the end of the year. That'd be great. And then trade him, because we will get another draft pick for him. If they cut him, because he will still be only 1 more year left on his contract, we might get a compensation pick for him even in 2025, I think. So regardless, he's got the best of both worlds all the way around, in contract, in money, and so on and so forth. I mean, if Goff just tears it up and this goes on and on and on, then they may not even take one, because then you got to figure out the valuations of the rookie classes coming out, and so on and so forth. So that's my thinking on that. I think it's all basically financial, as opposed to, his play is terrible, his play is good. It only reflects on the money, as far as I'm concerned. Now, here's another thing. My next point: the playoffs. I sent you an email, Chris, of everything I kind of looked up the best I could. And one thing I did forget is the Cowboys are in the playoff scene as well as the Seahawks. So that leaves only 3 teams that would be for the 6th and 7th seed. That's Washington and New York. And then maybe the Lions would be on the outside looking in, and that's really just for the 7th seed. So a tie today was horrid. That means they both have better records than us, and they will not split.
Right.
So one team is going to be worse than us, but the other team will be better than us if things turn around. So it would be a long shot now, the way it's going. If they win out, then they have a shot. If they lose once, which I projected they at least have one loss to the end, then that's the end of it. But it's still a good season, even at 9-8, which nobody expected.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Regardless,
we're one win away from the consensus.
Guys, that's my thoughts on all that, and everything else. Let's enjoy the week, baby, because this is great.
100%.
Take care, guys.
All right.
I'm going to sit back and enjoy my week.
All right, man. We will talk to you, brother. All
Yep.
right. You too can give us a call, 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384. Or if you get Skype, you can just go to Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word, and connect to us that way. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, this is Nomad from Oregon. How you doing today?
Hey, good. How you doing? From Oregon, did you say?
Yes.
Wow, way out west, man. Huh? Good to have you on board. How did you? You're originally from Detroit, or how did you jump on the Lions train?
Growing up, my dad was a Lions fan, so I got a bunch of stuff from his side of the family.
There you go. All right, you got a very wonderful, smart father.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. All right. Hey, really quick, I just want to say thanks to Brett Kuzno, 40 burger and a win. It's been a minute. Thank you, sir, for that super chat. All right, caller, what do you got for us, brother? What did you see today?
So I was because I'm out here, I couldn't watch the game. I was listening to it on the radio while I've been in the kitchen all day. But one of the things I wanted to touch on was going back a couple weeks ago. You and Risen had a conversation where you were talking about Goff being a systems quarterback, but when the quarterbacks take over an offense, it becomes their offense.
Mm-hmm.
So what I know that the whole thing of Goff keeps coming up over and over again. How much is what he's bringing to the system what is helping the offense really take some significant strides forward, even after we got rid of Stafford? I mean, I love the guy. I'm glad he got a Super Bowl, but he didn't do what he needed to do here, even with the talent that he had.
Interesting. That's kind of one of the that's kind of the lead to my favorite question to scramble Lions fans' minds right now is, if Jared Goff wins a playoff game, is he a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford? And people,
Yes.
people just the twitching starts. But in a weird way, I said it last week. I think Matthew Stafford held us back a little bit. Because, and I say that not because he's a bad quarterback, but because he was so good and he could put balls in places and make receivers look like something that they necessarily weren't. Kenny Galladay's performance after the trade to the Giants is probably a great example of making somebody look like something that they're probably not. And I think that evaluation hurt us on building out the team effectively, and as much as the Quinn GM and everything else did as well. But I think that just kind of put us in a place where we weren't seeing things as clearly as we maybe could have or should have, and maybe put too much pressure on that one position, where the kind of concept now is you have to spread it out and you have to build it out. The fact that Ben Johnson is the mind behind this offense, but he worked with Jared to make an offense that would work for Jared Goff, and
which is what good coaches do.
Right? Yes, and it's a system. It is a system, and they're working.
Bad coaches don't.
I know there's troubles along the way. There's times when Goff has been explicitly told to get the ball to somebody and didn't, and there's conversations that happen. It's interesting, and I think there's some give and take in these places, and it's interesting. It's interesting. This is I think the best potential system for this quarterback and this group of players. And I think we've got the right kind of coach doing the right kind of work and building out the right kind of plays with the right kind of players. And that's what you want, no matter who your team is. That's what you need to find success in the league. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does. And, one more thing, and then I'll get off here so you can get the next person. But, again, I hate to compare the two because they're just so completely different. But, you had Stafford here, you had Galladay, you had Megatron, you had all of these tools. And some people said that the defense kind of fell apart there, but look what we had through this season. Goff, with all of his issues, he has ran an offense that is performing at an absurdly high level. 2 games, once against the Patriots, once against the Cowboys, back-to-back weeks, where, things kind of fell flat, but that was also in the midst of the everybody was broken phase.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play when you have nobody really healthy out there. You only have one tool. I mean, the defense is going to pick up on that and shut them down. That's exactly what happened. But for the rest of it, I mean, look what they threw up against the Eagles. Nobody else has done that. Look what they threw against the Bills, even. I mean, Dolphins beat them for their first win, and they only scored, 20 points? And the Lions beat that. Now, they got beat, on the backside, but that's not on the offense. The losses this year, for the most part, have not been on the offense. You can't normally expect an offense to score or to need to score 35 points a game in order to win.
The first 3 games are 100% on the defense. The first 3 games of the season are 100% on the defense, and we scored 35 points in every one of those games. The number 1 offense in the league. You flip that. You like I was talking about with the draft and where you put your money. You flip that. We're an 8-win team all of a sudden. It's a whole different season. If you just had a little bit better defense at the beginning of the season, the defense is coming together now, and some injury stuff and some other things, but that's that. I mean, that's where that shows you the difference on what you're looking at. It's a team game. And, one thing I see Lions fans doing right now, and again, being the guy after Stafford is the hardest thing in the world, but our quarterback wins a stat or not. And I think people that were arguing that it's not a stat when Stafford was here are arguing that it is actually with Goff here. And I think that's just disingenuous. Whether or not you like him or not, that I think is a disingenuous argument.
I don't like the quarterback stats as a stat, or quarterback wins as a stat on its own. I think it needs a lot more context and a lot of other stats, perhaps too.
Yep, absolutely. All right, my man, I'm going to let you go. We're going to clear out the lines here, but thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Wow, from Oregon, that's great.
Do we have a sec? Or do we have
go ahead, man.
Okay, all right. Like, if you look at the losses this year, 35 points scored, loss. 24 points scored, loss. 45 points scored, loss. 0 loss, 6 loss. 27 points scored, loss. 25 points scored, loss. Like, 24 points should be enough to win a game almost every time. Like, the average in the NFL is, I think the last time I looked it up, it was 19 points is the actual average score. So if you score 24 points, you should win that game. And the Lions they've honestly, when people are, going off on Jared Goff, the guy has had 2 legitimately bad games this year, and everything else was mid or great. Yeah. He's overall a pretty middle of the road quarterback, middle of the road, legitimate NFL starting quarterback.
But Ash, he can't put the team on his back and carry it.
Neither could Matthew Stafford.
But if he could just get over on the defensive side of the ball and play some linebacker, I think we'd be all set. But that's why he's not a good
exactly. If he could step up in that last 24 seconds and maybe get between Jared Allen and Mr. Diggs.
When
people are like, well, they left too much time on the clock. They left less than 30 seconds on the clock.
And there was a face mask that didn't get called, but we're not playing rough ball. So Nick C, I don't think this team is winning the Super Bowl, but man, I would love to see all these young players get their first playoff experience. What a dub that would be for year 2 of a thorough rebuild. Yeah. The youth of this team is, I think, one of the biggest benefits, not just the growth of the players, but what it does for your salary cap and how you have money available. Again,
yeah. Tell me what team that's in the playoffs that the Lions can't beat, because they've come within 3 or 4 points of beating most of them. Like if you tell me they can't beat Dallas, the evidence says that that's probably true, but Dallas might not even be in there.
Yeah. Woo, boy, what a good time. All right. We'll take your calls, 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384, or you can just give us a ring via Skype at Detroit Lions Podcast. Hey, caller, what's your name, and how much have you had to drink?
Hey, it's Jamie from Montana.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself, bud?
I couldn't be any better, man. It's a victory Sunday. Got a nice weekend here, other than being sick yesterday, getting ready for St. Jude on Friday. 24 hours of who knows what kind of fun, but it'll be fun.
Oh, I'll be tuned in all day and probably all night too.
Awesome.
I just wanted to say that for the Lions, I actually have some competition. I jumped on to play Madden NFL because they totally dominated the Jags today.
It was absolutely fantastic to watch what they did to the Jags. I mean, it was just such a complete game. I mean, the old school Patriots, that had to be what it was like to watch football in Boston for a decade. You know what I mean? Just to know your team's going to win. Just, you're like, it's okay. We're going to win. I'm cool. It's chill. I bet their liver's
really
about to get
weird
messed
because
up. Go ahead.
I'm used to tuning into other teams and watching blowouts and thinking to myself, man, I wonder how this feels when you're a fan of a team. And this year, a couple times, it's felt like that. And I, as a Lions fan, and everybody talks about Lions fans have to learn how to win, and that's a real thing. And it's crazy to think that from where we were to now, in this little hot streak that we're in, that we're actually having to learn to win and not get paranoid when we're only 2 scores up thinking, oh, SOL. But I just wanted to call, let you guys know that this is awesome, and I will be tuning in for the fundraiser, and apologize about missing your calls, Chris.
No, it's okay, bro.
Couple weeks for me.
It's been crazy. It's been off the hook.
But
wait till we get to a little bit slow with the later times. I'll be talking about what's been happening in my life and how busy I've been. It's like, it's insane. It's nuts. No person should be trying to do all this. So anyway.
Yeah, I will do for every $1,000 you raise, I'll take a pie though.
Ooh.
And I'll start sending out those videos for you.
Are we starting with the 10 now, or are these 10 going to count?
I'm going with it. My first video will be for this 10,000 we have right now.
Ooh, love it, man. That's awesome. That's fun. I really appreciate that.
That means that Ash, last time we talked, you said you were going to match. So when I post 100%. That video, you owe at least that 10.
I'm doing it in one video on the day.
Well, hopefully it's 50 pies to the face. That'll be awesome.
I hope so too. I hope it's 70. That'd be great. I would love to go buy all the materials to give myself. I'll get all my students involved and be like, hey, after school today, we're pieing Mr. Thompson. I suspect I'd have a big line. I think I can get 70.
I think my kids are more excited about putting the pie dad's face than what they are about the fundraiser. So I have to teach them about giving a little bit better.
Oh man. Well, thank you, dude. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you and talking to you as we do this fundraiser starting on Friday at 9 a.m., 24 hours. We've got a lot of great interviews, a lot of great stuff coming. And there's I'm telling you guys, you got to tune in. It's a great visual that's going to happen here as this progresses. You guys, it's going to be pretty hilarious. I guarantee it. I guarantee you're going to laugh and love it. Good times. All right, Jamie, thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate you.
No problem. Talk to you later, buddy.
We'll talk to you, man.
Bye.
We'll see you. All right. Jamie from Montana. Really quick, stjude.org/DLP. Flounder, if you're still out there, can you tell us where we are in the match? He's going to match $200 in donations today. We've got to be over 100. We're at $10,589.01 so far raised overall. If you go to stjude.org/DLP, you can donate your fully tax-deductible donation. Help you out. It's the end of the year. You want to get those little deductions in there before it all goes away. Help a great cause and do great thing for sick families or sick families with sick kids who need help. It's the time when they could use it the best. I'll tell you, we have some, like I said, some fun stuff. We'll talk. I think I'm going to hold out till Wednesday to talk about what we're going to do here throughout the show. But we've got some great interviews, 24 hours of exciting, fun, cool stuff. We've also got an auction going on right now. There's a Jamal Williams jersey. There's a DJ Chark jersey. There's all kinds of great stuff there. You don't want to miss it. Go to auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. Check it out. Make sure to fill out your billing address and shipping address when you do your little profile, and you can bid like crazy. You don't have to put a payment method in there yet. Auction.detroitlionspodcast.com, stjude.org/DLP. We're just about $20,000 away from cracking $100,000 total raised by the podcast, and this is the 4th year of doing this. So please help us out here and make this happen. Do you want to show off your tattoo from last year, Ash?
That is an awkward thing to try to do right now. But I'll tell you what.
We're all about awkward, Ash.
Yes, we are. All right. We're doing this. So.
Okay, I'll talk a little while you. We're going to do it.
Oh, we're going.
Look at that. Oof, that's beautiful.
That's all we get. That's the skin show for the day. That's what gets us demonetized.
There it goes. That was Ash's tattoo from last year's podcast fundraiser. Ash came on.
Which, if I recall, was because we hit the 30K mantle. I had to go get that done this summer.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe I'll come up with something if we can hit 45.
Oh man, that's awesome. Great stuff. All right. Got awkward Ash from Joseph in the chat. That's great. Love it.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely never wearing pants during live streams. Come on, man.
No. This is pants-free podcasting right here. Let's see. Ash is getting laid via ink sauce. My Barbra Streisand tattoos don't get me any.
Then you're just going after the wrong ladies, my friend. There is a target market for every man.
Bengals over the Chiefs right now, 14-3. That's good. This Lions team, though, if I go back and think about what we did today, just from a stats perspective, Jared Goff, 124.7 quarterback rating, 340 yards. I need 3 350-yard games out of him. Damn it, I've got one. This was, I thought, one we were going to get. On the rushing side of the ball, he got about 100 yards, just under 100 yards between Swift and Jamal. You get Justin Jackson in there, he's and Kambinda in there, and you're over 100 yards rushing for the game. Receiving over 100 yards for Amon Ra, 2 yards short of 100 for DJ Chark, and 49 receiving yards for DeAndre Swift. You got Brock Wright, Justin Jackson, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Shane Zylstra. I mean, to have 8 people involved in the passing game, 9 people involved in the passing game is incredible. I mean, that ball was going everywhere, and you got a target to JMO, which is exciting.
Yep.
Foot picks.
Got people in the chat asking for foot picks.
OnlyFans exclusive. Oh man, this is good stuff. All right, so again, we'll take your calls 248-782-8384, 248-782-8384. Go ahead and get in here. And we'll talk Lions win. We'll talk about the future of the Lions. We'll talk about just about anything. I don't think anything's really off the table for chat.
Seems like not. Yeah.
Schedule going forward, again, Vikes are probably the toughest game. The Jets gave the Vikings a little bit of a scare today, though.
Yep.
They early they were getting blown out. Jets came back. We're at the Jets. I would so love to get a Let's Go Lions chat going there, though. after
would be nice.
After the JETS one here. Panthers, I just feel like that's I hate to look past anybody because they're all NFL teams with NFL starters.
And as soon as the Panthers traded everybody away and fired their coach, they won a couple games, if I recall correctly. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that is a team that does still have some teeth. You got to show up and you got to beat them, and that'll be the test, basically. Like that's the kind of game the same old Lions would drop.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You know what though? Today's a game that they would have dropped. Actually,
100%.
Today is a game that the same.
Yeah, I'm
old
not
Lions,
saying the jury's out. Like I think as a couple people have said here, we can see the corner and it's in the rear view.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like this is not the same old Lions. But none of it, nothing about it is. Like they dropped a close game last week on a last second loss by a great play from a great player. Lions have done that a lot.
A lot of teams have done that though. That happens a lot.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like we can't see everything bad that ever happens as an indication that the sky has already fallen.
Right. Caller, give us just 1 second here because I want to hit this point, and this is a game. This for a weird way for Lions fans. This was a trap game because historically the Lions would build up your hope like that. You get the 10 days off. You're like, oh, we could have beat the Bills. And you have the SOL fans there. And then you have the people that are like, no, it was so close. We've got it. And the Lions would turn around and drop this game against the Jags. Not only did they not do that, but they came out and they ball dragged the Jaguars up and down the field for 60 full minutes. I mean,
it's not close at all.
No. I mean, it was all Campbell just walking out there and saying,
"These nuts
are across your face and nowhere else. You're going to choke on them." It was a game. This is another one like that Giants game was very much a signature kind of game for the team. This is that corner turning signature kind of game for the Detroit Lions. This is the game that says they're real, which is why I don't think the Panthers game is a game that they're going to walk past because Dan Campbell isn't that kind of coach. He gets them up and he understands the importance of every single game and doesn't himself look past teams. I think he's very much in the moment and he makes sure that these guys are as well.
And it's very easy to look at this as one we should win, but they've only lost one other game this year by 10 or more points.
Yep. Caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, Chris, this is Brett. Coos now.
Coos! How you doing, brother?
All right.
Good. I really don't count how many beers I had because I think that might be the first sign of a problem.
Yeah. Once you know what it is.
Exactly. Don't count, don't know, my friend.
Right. But I think along the lines of what you guys were just talking about, one of the things I wanted to bring up was that every loss the Lions had is a team that's currently in the playoffs. And every team with a losing record they've played, they've beaten. And then they beat, the Giants with a winning record. So what you guys were just talking about like possibly getting into a trap game with the Panthers, I'm like, this team is doing what they're supposed to do. With the current talent level they have, they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're overreaching sometimes. And then today, I mean, when that line came out and they started saying Jags by 1, I was like, that's a joke. The line in this game should be Lions by at least 7.5.
Yeah.
I'm like, at home, that's ridiculous. That's asinine. We're both 4-7, and I'm like, I know they've been doing well, but I thought that was ridiculous. And then they delivered the beatdown that I thought they were going to give. So I think this team is, for the first time in a long time, is at least performing at expectation in any given week. So I wanted to hear what you guys had to think, what you guys thought about
you're
that.
Saying in the parlance of the children, this team is mid.
Bet.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like they're not bad. They're not great. They are. Nobody should look at them as a pushover in the teams that are going to lose. That's I'd say where we're at in the development scale. You know what I mean? Like I was hoping for 6 wins. We're 1 away. Woo! So I'm probably I hope I'm going to be happy with the win number this year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the one thing that would derail me is if we didn't get to that 6 at this point, that would be a problem.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a train wreck. That would.
But I don't see any signs that that's even on the table.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like they're showing up every week, and
Bro,
in terms of talent, the Lions are not better than the Jaguars. In terms of the players that are on the field, like this was a coaching win against a team that has a coach who has won a Super Bowl. So people are going to still be talking about how Dan Campbell's not a good coach. Like, what did you just watch? Because I watched one team get prepared, go out and kick the teeth out of another team that did everything this offseason that people were screaming they wish the Lions would do. They went out and signed 1,000 wide receivers. They signed a bunch of linemen. They spent draft picks on the same positions we did, basically. You know what I mean? And beat the living tar out of them today. They have the youngest stud quarterback.
It has to be all on coaching.
Yeah.
And they got Jerry back, and Jerry's magic.
Right.
Jerry is absolutely magic. People don't understand. Like, the people that don't know, man.
Jerry's definitely sticky.
Like, I love that man. Everyone's like, we need to draft a corner high. I'm like, no, we need to draft some corners late, my friend. So we got some depth. We got two. Got two.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you guys go, but I wanted to give you a quick over-under. Somebody give me, does Jamal beat Barry Sanders 16 rushing touchdowns in the season?
Yes.
He's got, 5 more games to go to get – all right, to get 2. To get 3 to beat
blown if he didn't.
Yeah, he does, and I'm okay with it because it's a 17-game season. You can use that as an excuse as to why he did it, right, and get away.
But even if you don't have to, like, Barry wasn't a goal line back. That wasn't his thing. Like, if he just – when he beats me from 20-yard plus touchdown runs, then I'll be
20 yards or more out. Then he's a goal line back. Your goal line's the red zone.
Yeah, and if they tackled him in the 5, they used to bring in was it Ron Rivers? They used to bring in?
It was Ron Rivers
and Corey Schlesinger. Let's not forget about the great Corey Schlesinger.
Isn't he a strength coach in the NBA now?
My favorite, dude. The guy.
He's great.
Schlesinger averaged 1.5 broken face masks a game. That was awesome.
Yeah,
he did not. He was truly a smash mouth player. Corey Schlesinger was the guy, man.
Love me some Schlesinger and some David Sloan. Those are some good days.
Yeah. All right, Coos. We're gonna talk Friday, right?
Yeah, we should be. Cameron will still be at school, so it'll be a split. He's gonna have to log in on his own.
Okay. Do you think what time's his final?
He's got final. So he had treatment this week.
Mm-hmm.
So he's supposed to have finals going into next week, but some of them might have to be deferred because he asked for time, which the school is very accommodating because he's going through treatment.
Yep.
So some of them might be delayed. So that's why he's kind of delaying into the week after. So that's why he'll still be at school.
All right. If we could do anything during the day, if we could zoom it up that way, that would be better. But I'll hit you up offline. We'll get it together.
Yeah, that's cool. DM me some times, and I'll get with him and see how it's going.
And just any time, but the 2:00 hour will make work.
All right, that works.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Be good, Coos. Thanks, brother. All right, Brett, the Coos. His son Cam, we've had him on before, has a real compelling story fighting cancer as a kid, and gonna have him on. He's going through treatment again. And we'll get him on. We'll have a great conversation. It's really inspiring, Cam's story. Listen to Cam talk. So, hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink so far?
I've had like 2 or 3 cherry Pepsis, but nothing in the spike.
Okay. Make sure to brush your teeth.
I enjoy my drink.
Yep.
Yeah, oh yes, I do.
Okay.
So hey, I
can't let the cavity
couple
creeps
things.
take hold.
Maybe you answered this earlier. I got in a little bit later. The tie between Washington and the Giants, how does that affect us going forward? If you could answer that one real quick, and then I want to talk about Goff.
Let's do the tie one last and then do Goff first. Is that okay?
Okay. Goff and Goff. I'm really getting irritated with all. We've got to draft a quarterback with that Rams kid. We've got to draft that. Why? The guy, okay, is he Josh Allen? Is he, Patrick Mahomes? No, not. But he's exactly what this offense needs. He's a manager. Is he a check down king? Yeah, he is. Why do you think Amon Ra had? So, I mean, he doesn't throw a lot of picks. Is he great under pressure? No. But I don't know many quarterbacks at all. I really don't.
Yep.
I don't get what all this hubbub, and it's a loud group.
about how badly we need a quarterback. Brad Holmes isn't drafting a quarterback. He is going to ride with this guy. I'm telling you that right now. He is going to ride Jared Goff. And whether you like it or not, he's probably going to be our quarterback for the at least next year, probably 2 or 3. So get used to it, people. This is our guy. So that's just my take on Goff. And I'm not unhappy about it. I really am not. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. He doesn't necessarily lose you games. But he will, and he doesn't necessarily win your games either. I guess he's middle of the pack, like he's supposed to. But he's a manager. He doesn't. I don't know. What's your take? I'm getting sick of hearing people bash on the guy because he's a California kid. He doesn't fit in. He's had a hard life going to a town that thought he stunk when the day he dropped in. So, what's your guys' take on that?
I think most people don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to quarterback play in the NFL. Just to be perfectly, completely blunt about it. People have unreasonable expectations. They expect perfection.
And they're comparing him against Stafford because we've had, 12 years of Stafford. We had so many years of this guy who slung the ball, the gunslinger, the whole thing. There's no quarterbacks out there like him. You can't replace him. And if that's all you've been trained to see in the NFL is Matthew Stafford as your quarterback, and it's everybody else. It's not Matthew that's the problem. And then you get any other.
Even that wasn't true.
I know it's not. But I'm saying people's eyes have been trained by him, and they think that's what it has to be.
The thing is, though, people's perception of Stafford is just wrong. Because they dog Jared Goff for disappearing for the third quarter, which he has a lot this year. But Matthew Stafford would disappear at the end of the first quarter and not come back until the fourth quarter in like a third of the games every year. You know what I mean? Like, people only remember the positives of Matthew Stafford, and they don't remember that he was the streakiest player. The guy would just be like nothing.
We hired a coach to fix him.
Yeah, and his version of fixing him was to make him a 20 touchdown a year quarterback. That's what fixing him was.
To try to make him a game manager.
Yeah. Like Jim Caldwell's dream quarterback is Jared Goff.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're right there. You are right. Jim Caldwell would love Jared Goff.
Yeah. Put this guy in the Joe Lombardi offense and see how that clicks.
Exactly. But here's the thing: you put Matthew Stafford back on the Lions with this offensive line, with this running game. He's only throwing for 250 a game too. Why can't people see that? Why? I don't get it. Jared Goff he's done yeoman's work, and not only doing yeoman's work, he's doing it quietly. He's not barking at the press. He's not pissing and moaning about his situation. He came in and just put his nose to the grindstone. I'm really proud of the guy. I mean, he's done a lot for Detroit, and he doesn't get nearly the credit he deserves. So the only thing I want to touch on more is the defense is finally looking like it's starting to flip. It's starting to really.
Loving it.
They only gave up 1 touchdown today. Gave up a couple field goals. I was thoroughly impressed. Hutchinson's becoming a beast. And that defensive, he's in the front getting. I'm surprised. Houston had another sack. Almost took the legs out of getting legs off of Lawrence today.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad Lawrence didn't get that badly hurt. I'm glad he came back.
But, I am too. Boy, you know what? That's one of the things about Lawrence. I have this irrational dislike for the opposing team, right? And if it would have been any other player, I'm like, okay, he's hurt. I hate that the player's hurt. Maybe he can just stay out the rest of the game and then he can come back for them next week, right? But I really felt bad. I like Trevor Lawrence for some reason. I really like that kid, and I felt really bad for him when he went down. I was glad that he was able to come back.
When I saw the replay of it, I was like, oh, he's not coming back. That looked really nasty.
Yeah.
But hey, flexible kid. Good job. But yeah, the defense looks like it's starting to get, Aaron Glenn, for whatever you want to say about Aaron Glenn, he's pulled it together. He's got them playing, 11 guys to the ball. defense and the corners are really shutting guys down. Food is kind of a key. Jerry is the unsung hero. He's going to get his name. He's going to get his eventually. But we just look good defensively, and I'm going to be at that Minnesota game. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking next week because I don't know, so anyway, if I can touch on the Washington New York Giants. If we happen, I know if we happen to tie with the same number of wins, they would both win out. I know that. But would we have to totally get over that hump in order to get in?
I got a baseball analogy that covers this one, I think. But with the tie today, they each picked up a half game on us in the pennant race, if that makes sense.
Well, that means if we get over more, if we get over them, we have
to get more wins.
Okay, but
and neither of them got a win today.
We're two games, but we're a game and a half out right now.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, is take the win total differential and add half a game, and basically add a win to that, and that's what we need.
I'm taking the Lions in this one, boys. I'm all in. Kool-Aid up.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday, and I appreciate taking the call.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, brother. Thanks for calling in.
When we find some gentlemen, we'll thank them for you.
Come on now. You talk bad about me like that. I mean, it's true, but it's still, I mean, you gotta. Oh, man. Woo, that was good. So, Lions pull this out today. This is big game for the Lions. Big score, 40-14. The stats are there. They just put the Jags down. I mean, 17 for 31, Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
179 yards, even cranked 200 yards. And almost, there was no interceptions, but just in a little bit of Jerry love, he almost got it. He almost got that INT, man. It was.
I suspect Jerry could have been a world-class volleyball player.
I was gonna say his hands looked really hard, bro.
Yep.
I think
that was no palming from him. That is a rock hard hand all day.
I think we have an edge player with softer hands than a cornerback.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
That's why you play corner instead of wide receiver.
Maybe he needs the 203 hits at the jugs machine at the end of practice every day.
Oh man. Goes, yeah. Oof. But it's all right. It's all right. If you break it up and drop it, I'm okay, Jerry. You got that. It's all good.
Yeah, 100%. I'll take a pass defended rather than a touchdown.
For sure. All day long. Hey, caller, what's your name? How much have you had to drink?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
Brad
good.
out here in California, and I didn't have a reason to reach behind the bar today.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. It was calling me, but I stayed true.
Yeah, no, it's old habits are hard to break.
Yeah. Well, good day to break them, actually.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I just took a cold shower just to make sure I'm in reality.
So. In California, who knows what they slipped in your drink? What do you got, man?
Yeah, right. Nothing too specific today. Just every weekend, out here, it's mostly my in-laws, and they like to rag on me every Friday. How are the Lions going to do today? And I told them we're going to wipe the floor with Jacksonville, and they all laugh at me, of course. And go figure, that's what happened. And I'm so happy to be right for once. And I'm kind of getting this feeling, that our intuition about this team is kind of becoming the norm, and it kind of feels good. I can go into each week kind of feeling confident. You know what? A W is not too far out of reach. Not the same old Lions. So.
Yeah. No, this is just I'm having a hard time paying all this attention to the draft and playoff things at the same time. It's this weird, like my brain doesn't think in two different worlds at the same time. But I mean, this is where we sit. And it just reminded me, I better go check that Rams score because they were close earlier. Oh God, the Seahawks are only up by 1. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the idea that there's a genuine chance to make the playoffs. Look, this is going to be interesting. If the Lions, and this is a crazy scenario. If the Lions win out and still don't make the playoffs, people are going to be angry. People are going to be angry. Those people we talked about at the beginning of the show, Ash. Good winner, you know, and instead of actually
just
seeing...
like Caldwell.
Yeah, it's not at the refs at that situation. You know, we'll find something to be mad about.
Yep, but I'll tell you the one thing that's true. Those people existed in New England for the whole decade that team kept winning. Those same people. So I for people that get a little uptight about that, just let it go. Just let it go.
Right now they're losing their mind about Belichick not having been anything without Brady. Well, like, let's come on, man. Not everything has to be a binary choice, you know? Like, it's not red team versus blue team on whether Belichick or Brady was responsible for the Super Bowl wins. Like,
oh, Corey brings up a good point. If the Rams win one, let it be against the Seahawks for the playoff implications. Oh, why do you do that to me?
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Honestly, I don't care about the draft position because the more games the Rams win, the less I have to talk about quarterback.
That's probably true.
In the offseason, bluntly.
Oh, yeah.
Go Rams!
Yeah,
this year, I'm cheering for them.
Yeah. After that last podcast, I'm slowly leaning towards your end of the argument there, Chris. Yeah. So.
Well, the thing that really stuck it with me was the whole Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff with the same stats, and living two different lives, right?
Yep.
Wow. Says a lot about what you're surrounded by. Says a lot about it. So you can do it. Build a team. All right. What else is going out there in the CA, man?
Well, we finally got some rain, so that's good. I was dancing in it earlier. Aside from that, out here in the land of fruits and nuts, not too much.
There you go. All right.
All's well.
Well, it's good to hear. I lived there for a long time, and I enjoyed my time there. I enjoy my money more now, but thanks.
Of course, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I'm envious of you. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. But always good talking with you.
You too, man.
Take care, and we'll touch base next week.
All right, we'll see you, brother. All right. I talk about that. You know, I did the math. It was a 24% cost of living change to move to Florida from California.
Well,
think about what you would do with that raise.
Well, the problem is when I do it, I'm taking a gigantic pay cut. Because y'all hate teachers. That's all I'm saying.
No, we don't.
Nationwide.
We don't hate them. No. They're in California, they make some real cash.
Yeah, but then, there's that whole bill situation, like, so they can rent a 1-bedroom apartment to themselves.
That's exactly right. You got a classroom. Sleep under the desk.
Yep. Like I could go to Hawaii and make like $100K a year too, and that would be enough to rent somebody's closet.
You can make some. I mean, there's ways to go. Oh man! All right, let's talk about it. We got the Lions. We got the Lions on top. We'll clear out any other calls that anyone wants to get through. We'll do those. 248-782-8384. 248-782-8384. We'll get you in there. And
Corey, if I could get my wife to move to Michigan, I'd already be there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And it's still warmer than where you're at.
Yep. Well, she's not here either now, is she?
No.
Also, no sea turtles in Michigan that I'm aware of. So,
teachers are in the top 3 professions that produce millionaires.
Well, yeah, because they quit teaching.
Yeah. All right. Hey, caller. What's your name and how much have you had to drink?
My name is Corey, and I'm just like trying to convince Ash to move to Michigan, man.
Well, I'm glad I just responded to your comment right before you were here to hear it.
I know, man. I heard you. I wanted to call back because it sounds like the callers were dying out. And if you guys need to take other calls, that's fine. But we haven't talked about James Houston yet, and I want to talk about James Houston, David.
James Houston. Let me just really throw back really quick.
Who was it that said something a couple weeks ago about James Houston?
Boom.
Yeah, I think actually in the post game presser, Riz asked a question about Houston, and the response from Coach was,
"You've had enough of that shit.
Sit down, Riz. Sit down." So fun busting his chops.
He was talking about how he was giving Penne and Taylor problems and shit, and previously as well, and I dug the hell out of that. But man, dude, after that first game performance, I'm sitting here like watching the video clips and the highlights of those sacks, and I'm like, man, that's Von Miller-esque. That's Von Miller. That's Von Miller. Like that dip, the speed, the shimmy, the getting off the chips, the hand usage.
Yep.
And I was like I'm just like, okay, don't respond to anybody on Twitter or any place. Don't compare this guy to Von Miller. Sit. And then today he did the same damn thing.
Yep.
And no tackle can get that low. Nobody. No. He keeps his balance that low to the turf. With that speed,
literally on his knee.
That is
still going forward.
I know, right? That's DeAndre Swift callback touchdown is how he's sacking people, right? His knee is scraping the turf. Just like, holy shit. I just think we got to talk about him, man. I don't want to monopolize y'all's time, but I kind of want you to move. I'm in Ohio, for fuck's sake, but thinking about going back to Michigan. But if I teach again, I'm going back to Michigan, that's for sure. So maybe we can caravan, brother.
Sounds good, my man.
I love it. And can we, since we're talking about defensive players,
I'm not 75, man. Pick me up. Let's go teach.
I don't want to completely take this James Houston love away, but we had a game here that was the Trayvon Walker and Hutch game.
Yep.
And I'm really, just judging their stats prior, but even watching them today, Trayvon Walker's a great player. He's a great player.
Yeah. He's an incredible athlete.
I am so much happier with Aiden Hutchinson on this team than I think I would have been with Trayvon Walker. I just think
Chris,
so much
his arms are so much shorter.
I know. I keep thinking, I could get that alligator out back and build some extensions for him, but
little Tyrannosaurus.
We keep getting these matchups of the guy we could have had, some people said should have had, versus the one we got. And
it used to be when we get those, we'd get to hear about how our guy was so terrible.
Yes.
Like,
no, I
miss
Delani Tavai quite a bit, and Keith Tabor. If they could come back around, that'd be really great.
That'd be great.
Yeah, if they could just scream cold beer. That's about as far as close as I want them coming around. It reminded me when I saw Jamal Agnew today of I said it in the Slack. All I could think of was that guy from that Pride thing getting like he was dragging Jamal in Twitter. Jamal comes back and he completely flipped and simped for him. It was like, what the It's all I remember about Jamal Agnew anymore. It's all I remember. It's so funny.
I miss Jamal Agnew. That Giants game, I think it was Giants game way back when he won the game for us on that kickoff return or punt. I think it was a kickoff return, not a punt return, but miss having him around. There's so many great players that have come and gone that I think this regime would have held on to, and that's another thing about the same old Lions fans and all these dipshits out there. It's like, we wouldn't have lost Slay if Campbell was here.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't have lost Diggs? All these like pieces would have continued to be here, and that's the future we have to look forward to. Is I think players are going to want to stay here and possibly offer a discount. We'll see as that transpires and as time goes on, and if we can string more and more wins together, because winning is going to be the key to that, I think. But I think people want to play here, and that's gorgeous. And if we can string some wins together, man, I think we're looking so pretty. I'm just going to keep calling you guys tonight 4 more times until Ash picks me up and Michigan today.
That's a big thing, though. And this was the Lions at the beginning of this year with Hard Knocks and the coaching staff. You saw it from players on Twitter. They were tweeting like crazy. They're like, I'd like to go play for this guy. I would love to go and play for a coach like Coach Campbell. He seems a little bit crazy, but just fun to play with, right? You heard it. And then the season started out, and it's like, that cooled a lot of that kind of talk. Yeah, I want to win too, right? Is the other part of the equation for the players. Well, now they're starting to see it though. Now the team's putting together, and you're seeing a team, and these players and the coaches, they all talk. It's you build the team, but you're talking to all the guys across the league. They talk all the time, and what they're hearing about is what's going on here and what's happened. I think it really started with Hard Knocks. Last year was absolutely a year zero, and I think it was brilliant for them to want to take Hard Knocks at the beginning of this year.
Yep,
because it's probably their number one marketing tool opportunity to draw other players, other coaches, other talent to the organization to show how it works. And
I wish they were doing it in season, man.
Yeah, for sure. And then to turn around and take this team from a couple losses, but like big scores, right? I mean, looking good early, a little bit of a tough time there around the Patriots, and then now start to sling these wins together and show that this can be a winning team. If you're that coach or you're that player and you look and you say, like, I could be the guy that makes the difference to turn this thing into a winner. I don't know that there's any other team. And I say this obviously biased as a Lions person, but I look across the NFL. I don't know if there's any other team that I would want to be considered to be one of the key guys responsible for turning the tail of a team into a winner, because right, you will be celebrated. And you can see the Red Wings from '97, right, when they started winning the little bit of a legacy there and the dynasty going on. Those guys, you see Darren McCarty walk around town. He doesn't buy it. He doesn't buy a drink. He doesn't buy dinner.
He's got a job talking about football, man.
Yeah, I mean, he does whatever.
Why
he
does
wants.
anybody give a rat's ass what Darren McCarty has to say about a football team? Because of that, you know what I mean? Like, that's the cachet you get.
Yep. I think that Detroit can very, very quickly got flipped, and I think Holmes and Campbell done a great job beyond the coaching of the team, but have done a great job of building Detroit as a potential destination for people that have their choices of where to go. So, Coos, thank you, sir. $80.68 takes us up to 10-6-69-69. I don't know why is everyone so focused on the 69 number? I don't get it.
Because it's hilarious.
But what's it mean? But no, thank you.
All right, so if we don't,
Coos, appreciate that. Sorry. That's rock and rolling. I think Flounder, if you can give us an update where we are on the match, I think we're pretty close to the 200 match.
I'm gonna be super magnanimous and take us the rest of the way, whatever that is. Like $5 or whatever.
Whatever magnanimous means.
I just want Flounder to have to pay $200 because I know he's going to make me do terrible things on that 24-hour show. I'm gonna have to start an OnlyFans.
I got Barbara Streisand tattoos. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Everybody...
That's delightful.
You sound like somebody, Corey, who we might be able to get on the block to get a tattoo during the show. If you've got babs.
You're damn right, man. I'm actually a virgin when it comes to ink, man. I woke up one time, I lived in Montana, and I woke up the next morning with a lip ring, and my friends it was my going away party before I moved to Colorado, and my friends were like, you're just like, there was a tattoo shop was closed because the person was sick. And I'm like, well, I guess I got a lip ring now. That is what it is. So yeah, you guys work me in, man. I don't have a Barbara Streisand tattoo. That was me being facetious. I'm more of a Bette Midler fan.
Let me ask you this: if we got to 35,000, would you get a Bette Midler tattoo?
That's a big ask,
Chris. Come on. I mean,
I would say no.
Bette Midler tattoo. Yeah, man. I mean, God is watching us from a distance, man, but I don't know if he's that far away.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
That's awesome.
It is what it is. That's the first time I'm glad I learned that in elementary school. The same, So now I can recite it as laugh after a Lions victory. I never knew Bette Midler come in handy.
We're $4.32 to go, Ash.
Yeah, I got that.
But you got to keep it 69, man. You got to keep the 69.
Well, then I'll just make it $5.
All right.
I'll round it off.
All right.
I'll make it 10. No, that doesn't help at all. Yeah, $5.
Okay. You make it 100, be $7.69.
Well, I'm not going to do that though. I'm a teacher, man. I got limitations on my budget here.
Not in Canada. Come on.
I'll help you raise money, man.
Come on, Mr. Millionaire.
I got students that think I'm secretly a billionaire. I'm like, no, man. I would not come within 100 kilometers of this place.
That's the only reason teaching works is because kids are not smart.
Yep.
That's why the whole college thing came. Now you take their money to go, and it's a whole different ball of wax, right? Oh, man. All right.
Just like you're buying school materials for your students.
There you go. You can write it. I don't know how the write-offs work in Canada, but you can write it off in your U.S. tax return, Ash.
Well, we just don't buy school materials for our students. That's not a thing here.
It's not either. They make the parents do it. All right. Hey, man, we're going to let you go. All right.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, you guys be well, dude.
You too.
Love you guys, man. And like and subscribe, y'all.
Yeah, there you go. All right, brother. Thank you.
Okay. I think Flounder may have just said he'll match me if I do the C note. Flounder, I'm going to need you to confirm that, because if you are going to match that, I will do it.
Ooh. Here we go. That's how teachers become millionaires. They can do math. Oh, that's it.
All right, that's it. I'm donating $100 and Flounder's matching me. Cool. I'll have to get you to send me the link after the show, Chris.
stjude.org/DLP.
Suppose I'll type that up right now.
Right there on the screen next to your head.
You know, I'm not looking anywhere except into my own beautiful brown eyes.
I know. Who would look at anything but your brown eye? All right.
Plus, you know, that's for the audio fans, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, so Lions take out the big win, 40-14 over the Jags today. This is great. Oh, it is on screen. I'm done. Done. Flounder did it. Ashception. We're waiting for all the updaters to update. While we do that, really quick, ask folks to hit the like button and the subscribe button. We appreciate it when you do that. It helps us out a great deal. Helps other people find the show. Helps us grow. Helps us. We've got a ton of people on helping cover Senior Bowl this year, and this is what helps us to do that. You're going to have the best draft coverage anywhere in any of the Detroit media coming from Detroit Lions podcast this year. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be hot. We'll have coverage from Senior Bowl. We'll have coverage from Combine. We will have so many different breakdowns and ways of looking at this. You guys are going to love it. And we have a bunch of different voices. That's one of the things that we've been working on and trying to build for a while here, is not a kind of common gestalt of how everybody says the same thing. That's not what we want. We want people that have different ideas and think about things differently and bring different perspectives. Because I think that gives you a much, much better perspective. Ash, you helped unlock a red wagon for St. Jude. Thank you, my friend.
That's what I do, brother. Helping the children.
$100 in. Woo! Loretto. I have a feeling no quarterback next draft. Lions fill the roster and go all in for Caleb Williams. Will be better to take a win now hit. I'm down with that.
Quarterbacks are always better next year. Until it's next year. Then they're better next year.
Show me the 15th best in the world.
Just keeps going. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that may be true. Like if the season ended today, could you say that Jared Goff has played well enough to potentially earn himself another look? Yeah. Because again, the only games he's played poorly in were the ones where they were starting Khalif Raymond and Tom Kennedy.
Yeah.
And when you're starting a player who did not make the bottom of your 53-man roster, that's a very, very bad thing in the NFL, and you're not going to win.
It tends to be a problem.
Yeah.
Romeo Cora came up in the conversation. Got to definitely cover that. Yes, he was back. He's ready to play, but and this is
not active.
To what Riz said earlier, he wasn't active. He's a big boy. That injury, that's the kind of injury that causes, it's hard to come back from.
Yep.
They didn't need him. They had the personnel today, another week to keep it happy and get it better, and just a little bit more healing, a little bit more prep, a little bit more working out, and getting up to speed. I'm fine with that.
And honestly, they might have just looked at it as, okay, we're going to open up the evaluation window, and is this going to be a thing this year? We just need to, poop or get off the pot, as it were, if Flounder, that makes sense. There we go, Flounder. You're the man.
11,069.69. Thank you all. Love you people very, very much. Appreciate it. Woo! We're there. We're getting there. We're
But yeah, back to Romeo Okwara. Big dude. Those guys usually take 2 years to come back from the Achilles and not be terrible. Like that's the thing. He might be able to pass an NFL physical right now, but unless you're worried about whether you can legally cut him or not, that's not the thing that actually matters.
Right.
Because once he does, you can, which he has, or he would not have been activated. But I think this is just opening up the decision-making process of like, if he comes back and there's 3 weeks left in the season, would you even bother? If that makes sense. Probably not. Like, why would you even like just let him take the year kind of thing? But they're looking at it right now and going like, okay, can we maybe get something out of him on those last 3 weeks where we're maybe making the push? You know what I mean? Can he be our third guy in? Can he be Pascal's backup for the rest of the year and be like a functional player? And can we just let basically Houston and, be the backup to our first round draft pick? Right. And that sounds delightful to me. I'm not going to lie. Like if that's our 4-man end rotation, it's been nice knowing you, Charles Harris. You gave us one solid year of service and then got your bag and just kept getting hurt.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. One of those two guys is not going to be on the team next year, either Charles Harris or Romeo Okwara. And I think that's all they're trying to do right now is determine if there is already an answer.
Yeah. Question: will the Lions sign Chark after the season, or will they look to the draft to replace him? This is an interesting question. What's the bag that Chark wants? Right?
Yeah. And what can he get? Because like if you tell me they signed him for Josh Reynolds' contract, I'm like, cool.
Yep.
Like 2 years at $7 million average each. Like, all right, that seems reasonable for that level of player. If he plays like halfway, not terrible for the rest of the year. Because, like you can write off before he got hurt as this is new quarterback, new offensive system, been injured for a year. There's a whole bunch of reasons you can excuse that. And then the first couple weeks after he came back, well, dude was in a boot 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like maybe he doesn't quite have that cutting ability he used to have, or the push off when he's trying to run in a straight line. Right. But now, like we saw it today. So you can't tell me that he's got lingering issues.
No,
in that regard,
you found the connection. Connection. I think a lot of it depends on his health for the rest of the year. Does the connection? If the connection remains, and he can stay healthy, that bodes well. He starts to become what they thought he was. I mean, it was a 1-year tryout deal. No reason they can't do another 1-year tryout. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not in his best interest. His agent will tell him don't do that. But I'm not sure. It depends. It all depends on what still happens. I really think so. I think his career depends on these last couple games this season, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Because, 2 years from now, if you tell me that Amon Ra St Brown, DJ Chark, and Jameson Williams are our starting receivers, like I'm good. That if that's how things work out, that's one of these things like if Goff is our starting quarterback, that is by far the ideal situation.
Yep.
So like, in the event that 2 years from now, Chark is a legitimate starting wide receiver in the NFL, because he had a season-ending injury. Guys don't always come back perfect after that in the next year, like sometimes confidence, sometimes lingering issues in terms of cutting and running. Everybody's timeline is a little bit different, basically, is what I'm getting at. So like, has he definitively made that not a thing that we could do? No.
Talk to Jameson Williams really quick. Came back, you heard the chants. We want JMO on the broadcast. It was awesome.
Yeah. But like, why? Do you want him to go out there and actually play gunner? The coaches obviously were joking to somebody that he was going to, and that person took it very seriously and went on the Fox pregame. Yeah. Like, come on, man. He was a great gunner at Alabama. I will say, like, if you watch, like, look up his targeting call against Auburn, and you're like, I see why we drafted that guy. I want that guy on my team. Yep. But the guy's had 3 practices. That's why he didn't play today. You're asking him to, like, mental reps are great, but also like he drops 2 balls in every practice because he's got such an incredible amount of rust from not having been allowed to play. Like, do you want him to come in and suck?
I want him to come in today and do the track meet and remember what it's like to beat a live fire receiver or
maybe run a jet sweep.
I want him to. I don't necessarily even the one target he got. I'm fine, just that one. But I want him to be on the field against the enemy because next week he is going to be on the field against the enemy. And
Yep.
I expect him to get the ball. And I expect them to not have any tape on what my plans for Jameson Williams are next
Yep.
week in a game that I really, really, really need to win, because if I win it, it's huge. It is huge if the Lions beat
Yep.
the Vikings next week. And boy, would I love to pull off the cover and surprise the shit out of the Vikings with what I'm doing with Jameson Williams. And I think that's
Absolutely.
what we saw from Jameson Williams today. That's
Yeah,
it.
like there's no reason to show your cards in this game in the
Even on his
blowout. Like
target.
a lot of people were like saying, like, I just want him to get a series. And I'm like, I don't want him to sniff a field. I want him to take his shoulder pads off and go sit on that bench and listen to what his, pals are talking about in the, delightful joy of this brilliant victory.
Even on his target, I don't think he was more than 60% speed running. I mean, he wasn't. He
No.
didn't turn it on at all. But I want to go back. You just mentioned shoulder pads, and I want to go back to that really quick. Isaiah Buggs walking off the field. My man's shoulders are wider than his shoulder pads. Did you notice that? Like they come out past the.
Yup.
That
He's
dude.
doing the opposite of what I did in high school in grade 10.
He looked like he had the old school pads on, but that's just his freaking shoulders.
Yep.
Holy shit. Oh my
Yep.
God, he's a big boy. I knew he was a big
Can't
boy.
hold the
but
pads if the pads don't go that far.
you miss it. Like you see him out there with the other players, and it's like, God damn, he's big. Then you see him walking off with the trainers, right? And his freaking bicep is as big around as the trainer's shoulders.
Yep.
I'm like, holy crap, he's literally a giant. That
Yep.
guy is a monster. Holy cow. I couldn't believe it. Like, go back. I tell you, people, go back and look at Buggs walking off the field. I'm not joking. His shoulders come out from beyond the pads. His shoulder pads to him look like most people's thigh pads look on him. It's so hilarious. Wow. What a giant. Man.
And honestly, like decent player.
Yeah.
Not a guy you need to get rid of.
Great addition this year. Great addition.
And we're
this year. Yep.
running so low on those guys that you need to get rid of. You know what I mean? Like how often have we been staring at 20 guys on the roster right now where we're just like I don't know if they can replace everyone they need to.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and this year it's like they need to bring in some competition for that guy, but like we're okay.
And we're gonna have guys that go off to other teams that do
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
And that's something Lions fans are not used to.
No.
And the whole we should have kept X or Y is going to be a huge conversation piece. Like, you know what I mean?
I look forward to those conversations.
We'll lose a game because we let Anzalone go. And he would have done well that week. Anzalone did that. He would have done. It's like, oh my God, man. Get out of the anal zone, please.
I love that guy signed that jersey. They signed it saying that.
Yep.
That's like I hope he's back. Like if these linebackers and another draft pick are the linebackers next year, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He should be somebody's third linebacker. Why not be our third linebacker?
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm with you. And he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Lions drafting a TE this year. I would think later if they do. Yeah,
if it's before the 4th, I'd be shocked.
They're grabbing a tight end with the Rams. Oh my God. The city would burn.
Well, maybe if they trade back, it'll be one of those picks they get for that pick. That
yeah, and that's something we can expect that we couldn't expect before. Is a lot of horse trading around. Brad Holmes does move. He wheels and deals, and he does a good job with it. So we'll see. All right, please like and subscribe to the show. We've got a lot of coverage coming for you, a lot of pop-up stuff that's happening, and I appreciate it when you do that. That helps us out, helps us help others to find this content. And look, the like button's right there. You're sitting there. It's just a little click. And what else are you going to do besides watch our beautiful
subscribe?
faces?
You should also subscribe.
I like it when you say things like that. It makes me feel sexy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have with like at least 8 different accounts. So
wow, there you go.
Like y'all ain't out there making new Gmails and then going on YouTube and subscribing to this channel. I don't even know what you're doing with your lives, man.
Daniel Caragulo, thank you, sir, for your subscribe, the latest subscriber to the show. Thank you very much. And also everyone with super chats for the show. Thank you guys for supporting the show that way too. It's really, really cool of you. Let's go and remember we need your involvement. Don't forget about us on Patreon. You'll get the best conversations throughout the week, 24/7, worldwide. The Slack chat is the most amazing place. The coolest people hang out, and it's great conversations. Tons of Lions chat, NFL chat, hockey chat. I mean, we got channels for everything. I mean, it's a great place. You need to know how to fix something in your house? That's okay. We got a home improvement chat. Does it for you. You want to learn how to use your Blackstone? That's okay. We got a good cooking chat. All kinds of good stuff.
You want pictures of my vegan takeout? You're going to get that too.
I avoid that channel. But otherwise, a lot of great chat and great people, and the Lions stuff is just second to none. I've been to all the forums, and I know. So head on over to patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast, patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. Become a subscriber for at least $5 a month, and you'll get access to the Slack chat. If you want to support us for less, that's cool too. You can do that. We're good with it. Also, follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. It's the very best place to see us. Without pants free. Also,
sans pantalon.
Give us a call via Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast. Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word. Oh God, I can't remember the name for pants. Oh, Kein Toten. No, Kein Hosen. Kein Hosen, that's it. I'm thinking Die Totenhosen, the band. Or call us on the Lions line, 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667. Be sure to go to Detroit Lions Podcast, subscribe to the podcast. Why would they subscribe to the podcast, Ash? What happens?
Well, what occurs is there is an automagical process by which, through various integration and workflow, we show up without any further effort on your part in a box that is yours. Synergy.
Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no sense, no problems, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. How about that win? Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. See you this week.
How about them Lions?